So let's go on to sugar. And I'm just going to briefly touch on this because I've done classes on sugar, sugar addiction. They're all on the website online. I'll just make the statement that I always make. We've eaten sugar for thousands of years. For thousands of years, the only sugar we've had to eat is fruit and honey. It's only within the last 100 years that we've created processed everything. And it's the white sugar. I don't know if anybody saw my blog posting. I don't know how many people follow blogs. But I put an article in my blog, if you want to check it out. It was an article written by a medical doctor in 1910. And the whole article was about sugar. And he was talking about how every store these days has candy in it and all these people are eating too much sugar. This is in 1910. And he predicted that how many problems that this was going to create in the future, health problems it was going to create for Americans in the future. And it's a really cool article. It's fun to read an article from back then because they used totally like different language than we use today. But so it's really kind of neat to read. But he talks about all the same things, all the problems of the clients he was dealing with, all the kids and adults he was working with that had infections and problems, with their memory and this and that, and he'd take them off sugar and people get better. And he gives some examples of that. And it's just amazing that was 100 years ago that he was talking about this, and it's still one of the biggest problems we deal with today. So again, we've always had fruit, we've always had honey. We need sugar. Sugar is one of the most important nutrients our body needs. We need sugar for the brain more than anything. I'm going to talk real quick about a couple of things that help me overcome my addiction to sugar that I've had my whole life. And there's two main things that have helped me, and I want to share it because it's just gotten better and better over the course of months since I've been doing these things. And again, you're not going to fix it overnight. And as I say in my sugar addiction classes, it's not just, oh, mind over matter, you're just weak, you can't avoid that cookie, there's something wrong with you. It's a lot deeper than that. But the things that helped me the most was building my adrenal glands. Okay? So tell me if anybody fits this profile. You don't have to raise your hand. A lot of people fit this profile. You get up in the morning, you're okay in the morning, and you're probably at your best at like 9, 10, 11 in the morning. Okay? Then in the mid to late afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock, you start to get tired. You start to crave. You start to crave sugar or breads or things like that. Those are people that are adrenal types. They have adrenal exhaustion. Because your adrenal glands are supposed to produce hormones throughout the day that keep you up, that keep you alert. Okay? They control blood sugar balance. It controls sodium and potassium levels. It controls your stress and anxiety response. It controls so many things, your adrenal. And we're going to do a class on adrenal glands in March, which I hope everyone comes to because I love talking about the adrenals. Because, again, I dealt with it personally. So people that kind of fit that profile, that have weakened adrenals, when you build so here's what happens. So 3, 4 o'clock, you start to crave sugar, you start to crave sweets. Why? It's because your brain is starving. Because your adrenal glands aren't producing hormones properly. And when your brain is starving, your body doesn't care what you eat. It doesn't care. It could be an apple. Great, but most likely it's not. More likely it really wants a donut or a Snickers or a can of Pepsi or something. Because the sweeter it is that you put in your body, the immediate relief it gives to your brain and feed your brain, and you go, and you're good. Just like that. Anybody experience that? Boom. I mean, that quick. You feel good. Yeah. So we'll talk more in depth about the adrenals in the class, but I always give the example of, whipping a horse. We whip our adrenals like we whip a horse. The horse will keep running and it'll keep running faster, but eventually it will collapse. Same thing with our adrenals. So we can keep, we can go through this cycle, this roller coaster of, feeding it sugar to, boost the body, but eventually it'll collapse. And when it collapses, it's pretty scary. I got some people that I work with that have extreme adrenal exhaustion, and it's, trust me, you don't want to be there.
So, Lon, you can eat a piece of fruit then in the afternoon for the sugar.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a pear.
Absolutely.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk next week about food combining. And and specific to Candida and fungus too, because I believe fruit's an important food, and it's a very healthy food. But we do have to eat it at the right times, and we do have to combine things properly.
But then with
Yes.
So when you were talking about need sugar, you're talking about natural carbs.
Right.
The
Yeah.
natural carbs of fruit
Right.
that we need.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because all carbs break down into sugar. So all carbs really are sugar. Okay. So that's why, like, people that are diabetic, they say avoid carbs. Well, like, a lot of diabetics will avoid sugar, like processed sugar, but they won't avoid bread and pasta because they don't understand that those are really sugar. So carbs are sugar. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So in the first 3 months of the body ecology diet, you're not supposed to do any fruits?
Yes, they don't recommend fruits in the first 3 months. I have kind of a revised version of it that I'm going to introduce at the end of February. It's kind of a modification of the body ecology. Okay. So, with everything that I put in here, I put disadvantages and advantages. Again, my goal isn't to sway you one way or the other. My goal is to give you information, and you do with it what you will. Any other questions about sugar? No, that's pretty
What
obvious.
was your second one besides build a nutritional plan
Oh,
to overcome?
thank you. The fermented foods. When I started making my own fermented foods and eating sauerkraut and eating my own fermented foods, my sugar cravings completely disappeared. Actually, I'll give you a third one too. Oils, good fats, specifically coconut oil. But the more you can increase your good fats, the more fuel and energy it gives your body, and the less you'll crave or need that quick fix. Okay, your body won't be starving as much. And the other thing with, well, no, that's kind of off the subject. Well, I'll just say it real quick. The other thing with adrenals is I don't recommend people try to fast or anything like that if they have weakened adrenals. Because again, their brain will be starving for sugar because their adrenals aren't working right. I see a lot of people try to cleanse and fast and things like that, and they feel like crap, and they're like, cleansing doesn't work. And a lot of times that's why. So you have to be careful with that.